So I'm Zeke Cohen. I represent District 1. I represent arguably the most conservative district in Baltimore. It's where Larry Hogan twice won election, and folks said a progressive cannot win in Southeast Baltimore, but we won. And then folks said a progressive cannot govern with a lens toward remaining a progressive, but we have. And I'm proud that we twice voted for a $15 minimum wage. I'm proud that we voted for a tax on development over $1 million to finally fund our Affordable Housing Trust Fund. I'm proud that we voted against mandatory minimums because they are wrong and racist. And I'm proud that we introduced legislation to support our LGBTQ community because we heard they were crying out in pain, and so we introduced and passed the single-stall gender-inclusive restroom legislation. I'm proud that my office fought for and won the Transparency in Lobbying Act because we know that in this city, given what we've been through, it is so critically important that we be transparent, that we show what lobbyists are doing when they come to City Hall. And then finally, I'm incredibly proud that most recently we fought for about a year and a half to pass the Trauma Responsive Care Act, and on Sunday that bill passed. And thank you to all of my colleagues, to Mayor Young for signing it, to the young people who called for it, who said enough is enough, you all need to focus on trauma. And then I will finally say that as a progressive, as a proud progressive, we also achieve results. And I'm proud that my office has received and successfully answered over 2,200 constituent requests. And I thank my great staff, Miriam Ahmed, who's here today.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Paris Beaner. We are the first of many, many, many candidates you're going to hear from today. So on behalf of all the candidates who are going to speak, I want to thank our Revolution Baltimore for organizing this great event and giving you all the opportunity to meet and hear from the people who are running to represent you. So I only have 2 minutes, so I'm going to be quick and to the point. My name is Paris Beaner. I'm a social worker. I'm a lifelong Baltimorean. And I'm running for Baltimore City Council in the 1st District because I've talked to too many people who say that Baltimore is not working for them. I know this because since launching my campaign, I've knocked on over 23,000 doors and talked with a lot of people who say Baltimore is not working. As Councilwoman, I'm going to take a public health approach to tackling our public safety challenges in Baltimore. Specifically, I'm going to work to establish an Office of Returning Citizens Affairs so that we can provide better services and better resources for our returning citizens. I'm also going to get serious about working to end the opioid crisis that is ravaging our city. We need to work to expand medication-assisted treatment because we know that it helps people who are suffering from addiction. And I think that we need to seriously consider introducing a safe injection facility here in Baltimore. I'm also going to work as Councilwoman to prevent trauma. To build on the Trauma Responsive Care Act, to prevent the trauma that is happening to too many people in our communities. We know that the #1 cause of trauma in Baltimore is extreme economic hardship. That's why my first piece of legislation will be to ban salary history inquiries so that we can end the discriminatory practice that perpetuates racial and gender pay inequity. We need to close the wage gap once and for all. I have a very robust policy plan and legislative agenda. You can check out at parisbeaner.com. I see my time is almost up. So again, thank you for your consideration and for having us all here today.
Yeah.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Hi.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
I'm Samara Dunn. I am a candidate for Baltimore City Council in District 2. I'm a homeowner in the Sedmont community where I also serve as the secretary for the Sedmont Community Association. I'm a mom of 2 young children, a human service advocate, and a maternal and infant child health advocate. I currently serve on the Fetal Infant Mortality Review Board for Baltimore City Health Department, and I serve on the Harbell Board of Directors as well as Baltimore Healthy Start. I'm running for Baltimore City Council because I truly believe that my community has been neglected over the years. We are saturated with a lot of liquor stores, beauty supply stores, and one of the things that I want to bring to the community is more sustainable businesses. We talk about the youth, we talk about that they don't have anything to do, any resources. Our community has been without a library for 18 years. It closed down. Our children have to travel outside of the district to go to a library. That's something that I want to advocate to get back in my community. I'm raising my children here. I've been a big advocate for early childhood education. I currently work at the Judy Center for Anne Arundel County, so I'm really big on, I'm a family service coordinator, so I provide wraparound services to children and families between the ages of 0 to 5 years old. So my focus is early childhood education and building families up and for a stronger community. I truly believe that I can be the change that this community has needed for years. Thank you for your time and your consideration.
Yes.
All right, so the first question for all three of you, I'm going to take it from left to right in terms of answering. This is coming from National Nurses United. They're saying in 2016, Baltimore City entered a 10-year agreement under the leadership of the mayor at the time called the Pilot Agreement, in which 15 of the city's major nonprofits only pay $6 million a year collectively instead of paying property tax, income tax, and sales tax. But $6 million is barely 5% of what they would pay if they were taxed at the same property rate as normal taxpayers in Baltimore City, who pay the highest tax rate of anybody in Maryland. Okay, so the question is, are you willing to stand up to these nonprofits and levy new taxes like a bed tax to ensure that these wealthy institutions are paying their fair share to the city of Baltimore? Tamira, if you could start, and then we'll go left to right.
One of the things I forgot to mention is that I am a nonprofit CEO as well. I have 2 nonprofits, so yes, I would be in agreement with standing up to the larger institutions for that.
Yes.
So the short answer is yes. I think that the fact that Johns Hopkins, of which I am a proud graduate, only pays about $2 million per year into our city is shameful. That they should absolutely pay more. There is a deep and deeply challenging history in East Baltimore with Hopkins. It in many ways provides jobs and services, but the fact that their nurses are not unionized, the fact that they are suing over medical debt, the fact that they just recently, due to pressure from us, the council, and others, finally canceled their ICE contract, the fact that, and I want to shout out CASA and OSI and all the other groups that work together on that, the fact that they continue to acquire land in East Baltimore through means that often displace people, all of that should be unacceptable to us. We should absolutely demand, and the mayor should demand, that they do more for us.
Thank you. So we'll start in the middle on this one and go around, just to be fair. So this one is from someone from the Sunrise Movement, Ann Wilson from the Sunrise Movement. How do you intend to respond to Operation Relentless Pursuit, the Department of Justice initiative announced in December to send federal law enforcement money, staff, and equipment to what it calls 7 of America's most violent cities? The initial investment of $71 million is for hiring new officers, paying overtime and benefits, financing federally deputized task force officers, and what the DOJ press release refers to as mission-critical equipment and technologies. 4 of these 7 cities are majority black. Paris, would you like to start?
It was how will you respond?
Yeah, just how would you respond?
We all know that we have a lot of challenges when it comes to public safety in Baltimore. I mean, every candidate who is here today is knocking a lot of doors, talking to voters. That's the biggest thing that's on our minds and on voters' minds. Policing our way out of public safety is not going to solve our problems. I know that in Southeast Baltimore in particular, we have the fastest growing immigrant population, and we need more officers who are multilingual and specifically who speak Spanish to communicate with our residents, with the people who are victims of crimes, the people who are committing crimes as well. We need a more nuanced approach, and the people who are making the decisions about policing and about keeping our communities safe have to come from our communities and know our communities. Yeah.
please.
Sure.
Thank you very much.
So, this is a long, I know. The Department of Justice has announced an initiative, Operation Relentless Pursuit, which would send federal law enforcement money, staff, and equipment to what it calls 7 of America's most violent cities. And there's
4 of those are majority.
4 of those are majority black, so, yeah.
So would we give more money? Is that what you're asking? How would
No,
you
just in
respond to-
general, what your thoughts of it are, how would you respond? You know, is this, you know, just,
Good idea, bad idea.
So I think for public safety, we need to take more of a community policing approach. And I feel like the police officers, they need to boots on the ground, be working with our young people and working with the people in the community. For example, the incident that just happened in my district a few days ago on Radicke and Sedonia. There was something in the news earlier today that the guy that was killed, he didn't even release any shots. So we just need to get back to community policing and having more of the police involved with the community.
So I think we should abolish ICE in its current form. I think that I represent Southeast Baltimore. It is a heavily immigrant community, always has been, and I will say that they have been an enormous hindrance to public safety within my district. We had 2 men get picked up outside of Walgreens while going to get their meds. We had a father get picked up outside Hampstead Hill Academy at 9 a.m. in the morning. He was held in a detention center and then deported. That is deeply inhumane. It caused a significant drop in attendance in our schools. It caused our immigrant population to stop communicating with law enforcement. And I'm proud to have both sponsored a welcoming resolution to tell our police officers not to work with ICE, and I'm proud to have supported Safe City Baltimore, which is a legal defense fund for our immigrant community.
All right.
yeah.
Thank you so much. We gotta keep things moving. So one